away the yolk, it is full of cholesterol. You have heard this. You may have been living by it for years, eating only the whites, skipping eggs entirely, or feeling guilty every time you crack one open. For decades, the egg yolk was cast as a villain in the story of heart disease, blamed for raising cholesterol and clogging arteries. Today, that story gets corrected. With the weight of modern medical research behind it, the egg yolk is not a health hazard. It is one of the most nutrient-dense foods on Earth. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why the cholesterol fear was misplaced, what the science actually shows about eggs and heart health, and why throwing away the yolk has been one of the most expensive nutritional mistakes millions of people have been making for years. Let us start with where the myth came from. An egg yolk contains approximately 186 milligrams of cholesterol. Decades ago, nutritional scientists believed that eating dietary cholesterol directly raised blood cholesterol, and that raised blood cholesterol caused heart disease. This logic took root in the 1960s and 1970s and gave eggs their bad reputation. Dietary guidelines in many countries limited egg consumption to 3 or fewer per week. The problem with this logic is that it fundamentally misunderstood how the body handles cholesterol. The human body is not passive. It actively regulates cholesterol through a sophisticated feedback system centered in the liver. Here is the mechanism that changes everything. Approximately 70 to 80% of the cholesterol in your blood is manufactured by your liver. Dietary cholesterol from food accounts for only the remaining 20 to 30%. When you eat more cholesterol, your liver responds by producing less of its own. When you eat less dietary cholesterol, your liver compensates by making more. Research documents 2 specific compensatory mechanisms: increased re-excretion of absorbed cholesterol and reduced endogenous synthesis. The net result for most healthy people is that eating eggs does not meaningfully raise blood cholesterol levels, because the liver recalibrates to maintain balance. This is why the feared link between egg consumption and rising blood cholesterol does not hold up in clinical trials for the majority of healthy adults. So what actually raises LDL cholesterol? The type associated with cardiovascular risk? The medical evidence accumulated over decades is consistent. Saturated fat and trans fat are the primary dietary drivers of elevated LDL cholesterol. Bacon, sausage, margarine, commercially fried foods, and highly processed snacks containing these fats raise LDL far more powerfully than dietary cholesterol. An egg contains only about 1.6 grams of saturated fat, a low amount. The strip of bacon that often accompanies eggs at breakfast contains more than 3 grams of saturated fat. Research comparing diets has found that a diet high in cholesterol, but low in saturated fat, including 2 eggs per day, actually reduced LDL cholesterol and lowered cardiovascular risk. The egg was never the problem. The real culprit was the processed meat sitting next to it on the plate. The large-scale population research supports this conclusion. Meta-analyses pooling data from dozens of studies consistently find no statistically significant association between eating up to 1 egg per day and cardiovascular disease risk in healthy adults. The American College of Cardiology published findings in 2024, indicating that eggs may not be bad for heart health. The 2025 Dietary Guidelines for Americans formally recognize eggs as a whole food and acknowledge that up to 2 eggs per day can be part of a heart-healthy diet. Epidemiological data shows that countries with the highest egg consumption, including Japan, France, Mexico, and Spain, have lower rates of coronary artery disease mortality, not higher. For people with existing cardiovascular disease or type 2 diabetes, individual consultation with a physician remains important, because some studies suggest a more cautious approach for those populations. But for healthy adults, the scientific consensus has shifted decisively. Eggs are not a cardiovascular threat. Now comes the part that will make you genuinely regret every yolk you ever discarded. The egg yolk is where most of the extraordinary nutritional value lives, and the specific nutrients it contains address some of the most important health challenges of modern life. The first is choline. Eggs are among the richest natural sources of choline available in any food. 2 eggs provide over 300 milligrams of choline, meeting more than half the adult daily requirement in a single meal. Choline is the direct precursor to acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter most involved in memory, learning, and focused attention. The brains of Alzheimer's patients show severely depleted acetylcholine levels. A large prospective study found that older adults, who ate eggs at least 5 times per week, had up to a 27% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's disease compared to those who rarely ate eggs. Another analysis found that eating just 1 egg per week was associated with a 47% reduction in Alzheimer's risk. Research estimates that choline alone accounts for 39% of the total cognitive benefit observed from egg consumption. Choline also supports liver fat metabolism, helping prevent fatty liver disease, and is essential during pregnancy for fetal brain development. The second nutrient is the pair of carotenoids lutein and zeaxanthin. These yellow pigments are concentrated in the egg yolk, and are also the same pigments that accumulate specifically in the macula, the central region of the retina responsible for sharp vision. They function as a natural filter against blue light and ultraviolet radiation, protecting retinal cells from oxidative damage, and reducing the risk of age-related macular degeneration, which is the leading cause of blindness in older adults. What makes egg yolk lutein and zeaxanthin uniquely valuable is bioavailability. Because they exist in the yolk alongside fat, they are absorbed by the body significantly more efficiently than lutein from vegetables or supplements. Research from the United States Department of Agriculture found that lutein from eggs is more bioavailable than from spinach. Clinical studies show that eating 1 egg per day for 5 weeks significantly raised blood levels of lutein and zeaxanthin without raising LDL cholesterol, and that eating 12 eggs per week for 1 year meaningfully improved glare recovery in patients with early macular degeneration. The third is vitamin D. This is one of the most common nutritional deficiencies in the modern world. Partly because few natural foods contain meaningful amounts of it, egg yolk is one of the exceptions. Research from Newcastle University found that vitamin D in eggs is remarkably heat stable, with 70 to 100% of its vitamin D content preserved through boiling, poaching, or scrambling. For a nutrient that is notoriously difficult to obtain from food alone, eggs offer a uniquely reliable dietary source. The fourth is vitamin B12. A single egg provides approximately 56% of the daily recommended value for vitamin B12, the vitamin essential for nerve function, red blood cell production, and DNA synthesis. B12 is found almost exclusively in animal foods, making eggs particularly valuable for people who follow vegetarian diets, but still consume some animal products. The fifth is selenium, with 1 egg providing approximately 28% of the daily recommended value. Selenium is a potent antioxidant mineral that protects cells from oxidative damage, supports thyroid function, and strengthens immune response. The sixth is complete protein. Eggs contain all 9 essential amino acids in the proportions that human physiology requires, earning the highest possible score of 1.0 on the protein quality scale. Each egg provides approximately 6 grams of this high-quality protein. Critically, research comparing whole eggs to egg whites alone after resistance exercise found that consuming whole eggs produced greater muscle protein synthesis than egg whites. The researchers identified the fat, vitamins, and minerals in the yolk as creating a synergistic effect that enhances the muscle building efficiency of the protein. Eating only the whites is actually nutritionally suboptimal compared to the whole egg. How many eggs can you safely eat? Current guidance for healthy adults supports 1 to 2 eggs per day. The American Heart Association recognizes up to 2 eggs daily as part of a heart-healthy diet. Harvard Medical School states that healthy adults likely suffer no harm from up to 7 eggs per week. For older adults specifically, research published in 2025 found that consuming 1.5 to 2 eggs per day consistently supported bone health. People with existing heart disease or diabetes should consult their physician for personalized guidance. The bottom line is this: egg yolk cholesterol does not raise blood cholesterol for most healthy people because the liver compensates. The actual drivers of elevated LDL are saturated and trans fats, not eggs. The yolk contains choline for brain protection, lutein and zeaxanthin for eye health, vitamin D for bones and immunity, vitamin B12 for nerve function, and selenium for antioxidant defense. Eating whole eggs after exercise builds muscle more effectively than egg whites alone. Regular egg consumption is associated with up to 27% lower Alzheimer's risk. Up to 2 eggs per day is safe and actively beneficial for most healthy adults. Please like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone still throwing away the yolk. Leave a comment telling us how you currently eat your eggs. And we will see you in the next video.